Late 20s babae ako, nakatira sa dulo ng Metro Manila, sa bahay na laging may tunog ng electric fan at tahol ng aso ng kapitbahay. Nanay ko nagtatay kapag may order. Tatay ko kung ano-anong racket, minsan nagmamaneho, minsan kargador sa palengke. Ako naman, nurse ako sa isang clinic na hindi sikat pero busy. May mga araw na ang trabaho ko ay puro BP check, wound dressing at pakikinig sa mga pasyente na mas gusto pang magkwento kaysa magpa-check. Kapag may free time, nagkakape ako sa maliit na mug na may chip sa gilid tapos magbabasa ng devotional sa phone habang nakaupo sa monoblock. Hindi ako mahilig sa grand romantic stuff. Sa totoo lang, madali akong mairita sa mga sobrang pabida. Gusto ko yung simple, yung may respeto, yung hindi ka ginagawang project. Kaya, nung nangyari yung sa LRT, di ko rin inisip na magiging ganito kalaki. Gabi yun, after shift, pagod ako, yung pagod na parang may buhangin sa mata. Naka-ponytail na ako na hindi napantay tapos hawak ko yung maliit na eco bag na may laman na tinapay at konting gulay. Umuulan ng mahina, yung klase ng ulan na hindi ka babasain agad pero mamamasa yung damit mo. Siksikan sa platform. Nung dumating yung train, alam mo na yung routine. Singit, hawak sa pole, iwas sa bag na sumasabit, pray na sana hindi huminto ng matagal sa gitna. Pagpasok ko, may biglang tumulak sa likod ko, hindi sinasadya pero na-outbalance ako. Yung eco bag ko muntik malaglag. May kamay na humawak sa strap, steady, tapos narinig ko yung boses na calm. Ate, okay ka lang. Pagtingin ko, lalaki siya. Early 30s siguro. Malinis tignan, pero hindi yung OA na parang may photoshoot. Simple polo, backpack, tapos may ID lace na nakatago na parang ayaw niya ipakita. Hindi siya gwapo sa movie level. Pero may something sa mukha niya na parang hindi siya nagmamadali mang-judge. Alam mo yung tao na kaya maghintay sa line nang hindi nagrereklamo, ganon. Okay lang, sabi ko, medyo naiinis sa sarili ko kasi parang ang hina ako. Nag-thank you ako, tapos tumalikod na sana ako. Pero biglang nagpreno yung train, halos lahat na pasandal sa isa't isa, yung kamay niya napunta sa gilid para hindi ako tumama sa pole. Walang bastos, walang weird. Pure instinct lang na protektahan yung space. Pagkatapos nun, nagka-eye contact kami, nag-smile siya ng konti, tapos nag-joke siya, mahina lang. Daily exercise daw natin ito. Napatawa ako. Hindi yung malakas, yung exhale na parang gumaan. Sa next station, hindi siya bumaba. Ako rin hindi. Sa totoo lang, bihira ako makipag-usap sa strangers, lalo na pagpagod ako. Pero nung umandar ulit, nagsabi siya ng, ingat ka palagi. Tapos parang normal lang, parang hindi kailangan ng follow-up. Pero ako yung nag-follow up, I don't know why. Siguro dahil pagod ako at kailangan ko lang maramdaman na may isang tao sa mundo na gentle. Sabi ko, ikaw din. Tapos dumating yung part na parang sa pelikula, pero hindi siya cringe. Kasi wala namang music, wala ring slow motion. Nagkataon lang na pareho kaming bumaba sa parehong station. Sa hagdan, nakita ko na hawak niya yung maliit na paper bag na may pastries. Amoy ko pa yung battery. Bigla kong naisip yung bunso naming kapatid na mahilig sa tinapay. Sabi niya, gusto mo? Isa lang. Marami to, nagulat ako. Sabi ko, ay hindi, okay lang. Pero ngumiti siya ulit, parang sanay sa pagtanggi. Hindi, serious. Hindi ko mauubos. Kinuha ko to kasi stress ako sa meeting. Wala akong gana kumain mag-isa. Hindi ko alam kung bakit pumayag ako. Siguro dahil gutom ako. Siguro dahil yung offer niya walang kapalit. Kumuha ako ng isa, tapos nag-thank you ulit. Nagpakilala siya, first name lang. Ako rin. Sa labas, umuulan pa rin. Naghihintay kami ng jeep tapos nagkwentuhan ng konti about traffic, about how LRT feels like a daily test of faith. Tinanong niya kung taga saan ako, sabi ko malapit lang. Tapos tinanong ko rin siya, sabi niya, sa may bandang south, pero umuuwi pa rin siya minsan sa lumang bahay nila sa Manila para bisitahin yung lola niya. Tapos dumating yung jeep niya, bago siya sumakay sinabi niya, sana makita ulit kita, kung okay lang. Nagulat ako ulit. Usually ang sagot ko dyan ay polite na, ingat, pero may part sa akin na pagod na sa pagiging defensive. So sabi ko, okay lang, sana nga, akala ko hanggang dun lang. Pero kinabukasan, same time, same station, nakita ko siya ulit. Hindi siya nag-wave agad. Parang ayaw niyang magmukhang creepy. Pero nung nagkatinginan kami, nag-smile siya. Tapos tumabi lang siya sa malapit. May dala ulit siyang pastry, ibang flavor. This time, hindi niya ako inalok agad. Naghintay siya, na ako yung magsalita. Sabi ko, stress ulit sa meeting? Sabi niya, always. Pero at least may reward. Doon nagsimula. Hindi yung bigla kaming naging magjowa. Ang totoo, ilang linggo kaming ganun. Hello sa platform, small talk sa train. Minsan sabay kami bumaba, minsan hindi. Minsan, nag-share siya ng earphones kasi sira yung sa akin. Minsan ako yung nagbigay ng tissue kasi umuubo siya. Small things. Walang big gestures. Hanggang sa isang Friday, nagtanong siya kung pwede daw ba kaming magmerienda sa isang mall near the station. Simple lang daw kasi he wanted to talk without the train noise. Pumayag ako. Umorder kami ng pares na hindi fancy. Tapos, nagkwentuhan kami ng totoong kwento, hindi yung pang-commute lang. Nalaman ko na corporate siya, may role siya na lagi siyang kausap sa phone kaya pagod din siya kahit nakaupo lang. Nalaman niya na nurse ako at madalas ako umiyak sa CR ng clinic kapag may pasyente na walang pera pero kailangan ng gamot. Hindi ako umiiyak sa harap ng tao. Pero pag nagkukwento ako, halata sa boses ko, he listened. Hindi siya nag-rescue mode. Hindi siya nag-offer ng solusyon agad. He just said, ang hirap nun. Salamat na ginagawa mo pa rin. Doon ako natakot ng konti kasi ang sarap pakinggan ng ganung response. After a few months, naging kami. Hindi ko sinabi agad sa pamilya ko. Hindi dahil nahihiya ako, pero dahil gusto ko munang sigurado. Siya rin, hindi niya sinabi agad sa kanila. Sabi niya, I need to choose the right time. I asked why. He paused. Tapos sinabi niya na medyo traditional sila. May expectations. Hindi ko pinansin masyado. Kasi lahat naman may expectations. Akala ko normal lang yung gusto nilang stable ka, gusto nilang mabuting tao ka. Hindi ko naisip na may ibang meaning yung expectations nila. Nung sumunod na Pasko, dinala niya ako sa bahay nila para kumain ng lunch. Hindi ko sasabihin yung exact place, pero malaking bahay, malinis, may tahimik na sala na parang museum. Yung mga unan, hindi mo alam kung pwede mo ba sandalan. Yung mga frame sa wall, puro family photos na parang lahat naka-best angle. Pinakilala niya ako sa nanay niya at tatay niya. Polite sila. Very polite. Smiles. Hello, kamusta? Pero yung mata, alam mo yung mata na parang nag-scan. Hindi judgment agad, pero assessment. Parang HR interview na naka-best dress. Tinanong nila kung saan ako nag-aral. Sabi ko, State University. Tinanong nila kung saan ako nag-work. Sabi ko, clinic. Tapos, minsan may sideline ako na home care sa matatanda. Nag-nod sila. Tinanong nila kung taga saan pamilya ko. Sabi ko, dito lang sa Metro Manila. Tinanong nila kung ano trabaho ng tatay ko. Sabi ko, kung ano-anong racket, basta masipag. Tinapos ko ng smile para hindi mukhang sad. At that moment, naramdaman ko si boyfriend ko, hawak niya yung kamay ko sa ilalim ng table. Parang sinasabi niyang, okay ka lang. And I was okay. Kaya ko yun. Sanay ako sa tanong, pero may mga subtle comments. Yung ate niya, older, nice naman, pero may line siya na, ay nurse ka, ang noble. Pero grabe, hirap siguro ng schedule mo. Paano pag may kids na kayo, sino mag-aalaga? Yung nanay niya nagsabi, importante kasi sa amin yung family time, yung steady, yung hindi laging pagod. Hindi ko sinagot. Tumango lang ako kasi wala akong energy makipagdebate sa lunch. Pag-uwi namin sa kotse, tahimik ako. He asked me kung okay lang ako. Sabi ko okay lang, hindi naman sila rude. Tapos tumingin siya sa kalsada, parang may iniisip. Sorry, sabi niya. I should have prepared you. Doon ko unang naramdaman na may mas malalim pa dito. The next months, mas naging careful siya. Minsan hindi niya ako ma-invite sa family events. Sabi niya busy daw sila or may out of town. Hindi ako nag-insist. I had my own life din naman. May church ako every Sunday, choir practice, tapos dinner with my family kapag may extra. I like cooking simple stuff, sinigang, ginisang gulay, and I liked it when my mother would sit beside me and say, ang sarap kahit alam kong minsan kulang sa asim. Boyfriend would come sometimes after work just to sit sa malit naming sala, makinig sa mga kwento ng kapatid ko about school, tapos magpapaalam agad kasi ayaw niyang makaabala. My father liked him kasi hindi siya mayabang. My mother liked him too kasi he would wash his plate without being told. Those small things matter sa bahay namin. Then one night, habang naglalaba ako sa banyo, tumunog phone ko. Message niya, Can we talk later? Important. Yung dibdib ko biglang sumikip. Kasi yung important na word, usually hindi yun good news. Nag-call kami after ko magpatayo ng buhok. Nasa kondo siya. Nakaupo daw siya sa sahig kasi mas malamig. Sabi niya, market na daw yung weekend na kakain sila sa labas, family dinner. His mom wanted me to come. Tapos yung voice niya parang may tension. Sabi ko, okay, I can come. Kahit maaga shift ko, kinabukasan, I can adjust. Hindi, sabi niya, that's the thing. She wants you to come. But also, she invited someone else. Akala ko, friend o pinsan. Sabi ko, sino? He exhaled. Daughter ng friend nila, matagal na daw nila kilala. Same circle, same schools, same everything. Ang sabi ng mom niya, gusto lang daw nila mag-catch up. Pero parang, alam mo na, hindi ako nakasalita agad, narinig ko lang yung electric fan sa kwarto, narinig ko yung kapitbahay na nanonood ng TV. So ano sinabi mo? Tanong ko. Sabi niya, I told her I have you. I told her I'm serious with you. But she said, I'm still young and I need to be practical. She said, love is easy now, but marriage is different. Yung word na practical, tumama sa akin. Kasi ako, practical ako by necessity. Ako yung nag-compute ng pamasahe, ng ulam, ng tuition ng kapatid ko. Ako yung nag-skip ng bagong sapatos kasi kailangan ng gamot ng nanay ko. So, when someone uses practical as a weapon against me, parang sinasabi nilang hindi ako qualified sa buhay nila. I asked him, what do you want to do? Sabi niya, I want to be with you, but I can't cut them off. I don't know how. Hindi ko sinabi na, then choose. Kasi hindi ako ganong tao. I know what family pressure feels like. I know yung feeling na kahit mali sila, mahal mo pa rin sila, pero masakit pa rin. I attended that dinner. Hindi ko alam bakit. Siguro dahil ayoko maging babae na tinakbuhan ang situation. Siguro dahil gusto kong makita kung tama ba yung kutob ko sa restaurant, tahimik. Not because of awkward jokes, pero dahil controlled yung atmosphere. His mom hugged me politely, his dad nodded, his sister smiled, but her eyes were tired. Tapos dumating yung girl. She was kind, actually kind. She greeted me first. She said, hi, I'm sorry I didn't know. Your boyfriend didn't tell me the full story. I thought it was just family dinner. She looked embarrassed but not fake. That moment surprised me. Kasi ang expectation ko, magiging mean siya. Pero hindi. She just looked like someone na napasok sa plan ng iba. Dinner went on. His mom kept steering conversations sa careers, sa future plans, sa investments. Hindi ako knowledgeable doon. Alam ko lang yung simple savings, emergency fund, and how to stretch money. The other girl had answers. She talked about her MBA plans, her travel, her work in a big company. She was not boasting. She was just living her life. I felt small. Not because she was better, but because I was placed there like a comparison chart. After dinner, sa parking, his mom pulled him aside. I pretended not to hear, pero narinig ko pa rin. Hindi lahat, pero enough. She said, you need someone who can keep up. Someone who will not be a burden. We worked hard for this life. I felt my throat close. Burden, yun yung word. Parang may sumampal. On the drive home, hindi ako umiyak. I just stared sa window. He kept saying sorry. He kept saying I didn't want that to happen. Pagdating sa bahay nila, hindi siya pumasok agad. Nakapark lang siya sa gilid. He held my hand. His hands were shaking. I love you, sabi niya. But I feel like I'm failing everyone. I looked at him and for the first time I got angry. Not loud angry, just tired angry. You are not failing everyone, sabi ko. You are letting them decide for you and you are letting me pay for it. He cried, like real cry, not the silent tears. He covered his face and said, I don't know how to stand up to her. I went home that night and I prayed. I prayed the way I always pray when I don't know what to do. Simple words. Lord, tulungan mo ako maging mabait, pero wag mo akong gawing tanga. The next week, I focused on work. I tried to move like normal. Patients, bandages, paperwork, but the heaviness stayed. I kept thinking, if love is real, why does it feel like I'm always auditioning? Then, something happened that I didn't expect. One afternoon, while I was assisting an elderly patient, my phone kept vibrating. Missed calls, messages. It was him. I stepped out, wiped my hands, answered. His voice was shaking. Dad is in the ER. He collapsed. I don't know what to do. I asked where. He said a hospital near their area. I asked, symptoms? I asked if he was breathing, if he was conscious, if he had history. My nurse brain took over. I told him what to ask, what to note, what to prepare. I told him to breathe. I told him to focus on the next step. Hours later, he called me again. His dad had a mild stroke daw. Stable, pero kailangan bantayan. His mom was panicking. Their family driver was crying. He was exhausted. I asked if he wanted me to come. He said yes, but he was scared his mom would reject it. I said, I am coming as someone who cares about you. That's it. No extra. I went after my shift. I brought simple stuff, water, biscuits, extra mask. When I arrived, his mom saw me and froze. For a second, I thought she would tell me to leave, but she didn't. She just looked older. Her perfect hair was messy. Her voice was low. Thank you for coming, she said. I helped in small ways. I didn't take over. I just supported. I explained to them, in simple words, what the doctor said. Kasi halata akong hindi nila naiintindihan lahat. I told them what to watch for. I reminded them to eat. I reminded my boyfriend to sit down. I reminded his sister to drink water. His mom watched me, not like scanning, more like she was seeing something new, and she didn't know what to do with it. The next morning, while my boyfriend was asleep sa chair, his mom sat beside me. The hallway was quiet. I was holding my rosary in my pocket, rubbing it without thinking. She said, I'm sorry about that dinner. I looked at her. I didn't know what to say. I was tired. She continued, We are scared. We want him to be safe. We want him to have a life that doesn't feel hard. I wanted to say, life is hard for everyone. But I understood her fear in a way. It was a mother fear. Still, it hurt. I told his mom, I'm not after their money or house. I just want respect. She asked me to promise I wouldn't take him away. And I said he's not an object, he can love them and me, but he must choose freely. After his dad recovered, she softened and checked on me, even sent fruit, but still pushed me to change jobs or study more. My boyfriend defended me and talked about engagement, yet I'm scared. I'll spend years proving I'm enough, so I'm unsure if I should marry into this. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to come back tomorrow for more stories. Once again, I'm Lechon, and I'll see you next time.